Hello, today we're going to talk about the final project for 7100. As you can see, I have my code listed up here. One thing to note, and I haven't done this to change, but when you are developing any type of application within Python or any other scripting, you never want to have like your password just out here. For demonstration purposes only, I haven't changed it. But what this needs to actually be is an importation to import this from another script. That prevents security, helps with the security vulnerabilities in case the application itself gets compromised. You're not having direct access to the password. That leads into the psycobg to your database. So by importing your password from another script provides another layer of security to make your script a little bit better, and that's something I might look into doing before I submit for final project. But for this purpose only, for now, I left it as it is. So one of the beginning things is we need to get the input from the user. So when we get the input from the user, we define it as, well, get input, and that's going to print us our user input. Now, I like to put these little print things in here between, and as you'll see when the code runs, it just creates a nice little gap. It makes the code output a little bit neater. If there's a better way of doing that, please share. But as right now, this is just something I've done as I'm not that in depth with Python, and it works fairly decent for my purpose. So when you use get input, it's going to help define the value of user input. And with user input, that will help us formulate my user. These will come in relevance later, but first we had to define them. So once the user just checks the status of the user, and if it confirms in the SQL database that it's an admin, it'll give this prompt, and it'll perform the action that it is admin. Yeah, so this is defined, checking if it's admin. If it's admin, if user is not admin, it'll return a false, and if the user is admin, it'll return admin. From the count rows, this is our count rows statement. Now we have limitations on it as well, and at the end of the code, it will return a row count and display the row count. So the main function of this is user's just going to get input, and it's going to display my user is, and it's going to say format user. Then it's going to check admin my user. Once it checks admin my user, if it confirms as admin, it will print as admin, and then it will display the row counts. So for example, I'm going to show you the SQL database real quick, and I'd kept everything else hidden. That's for the security of the database, but I have the list of users right here. So you can see Jake, me, is listed as true. We still have Ran in there true. We still have test Jake as false. So we have 3 rows. So when we get the count rows, we should get an output of 3. Anything else to that is wrong. In addition to that, admin should be defined as true when we put this in, and it checks. If I put a different name in, it will return a false, and also give us the prompt is not admin. So not only does it return a true false statement, but it also returns a string involved of if it's of the prompts. So when running the code, we're going to see here, it's going to say, so running the code, it pops up as retrieving user input. So we're going to retrieve user input, so we're going to put Jake. So it's checking the database for Jake. So it says my user is Jake. And then it takes the status of my user, Jake, and takes the Jake and puts it into here and says is an admin. So it confirms that, checks if it's admin. Then it returns user is an admin, true. So it gave us our quote, and it gave us a value of true. And then we display row counts. Now let's say I stop that code, and I decide to go, okay, let's put another name. So let's say Seth. Seth's not in the database. So it's going to check if it's an admin. User is not an admin, false, row count 3. Or let's say our other admin is, well, it went away. Well, we said it was test Jake. So if we even go and we put test_Jake, user has not an admin false. So you can see it has two values here where we put user is not admin and returns the value of false, or it's going to go ahead and it's going to return the value of true. The user is admin. And it displays the row counts exactly as it should. One of the other things we did to also for security measures is we have a limit query here. We've defined it as limit query, set the SQL to a query limit. That's important to add in security as well. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this quick demonstration of this code.